Hello and welcome to freedomalcohol.com. This is Sam French. You join me here, week 29 of the life videos. And today I want to talk about my social event, my family event that I went to at the weekend, and some of the things that I came across during that time that you may come across yourself when you go to social events, because as with all things in the United Kingdom and most of Western Europe, they involve drink and alcohol, whether it's from the bar mitzvah to the wedding to the funeral to the celebration of the week being a great week's results at work to the commiseration of, oh, I've had a really tough week, I need to wind down with a drink. Drinking is there at all occasions, and that is part of the problem of the drinker. You see, the other thing this weekend is that in the UK we've been having this most wonderful weather. Today is 31 degrees, 5:30 in the afternoon, and what do you do in the UK when it is wonderful weather? You have to go to the beer garden to drink lots of beer, to consume lots of fresh quench-thirsting lager. But the trouble is, you see, that quench-thirsting lager is actually a mild anaesthetic and also makes you thirsty. It dehydrates you. It is a diuretic. So we go out in this really hot weather without our suntan lotion, and we sit there and we drink pints and pints of lager. Or if we are in the higher society in the United Kingdom, we might have a little Pimm's, because Pimm's is the summer drink. And what do we put in the Pimm's to make it more healthy? We put a selection of fruit, including strawberries and mint and various other things to make it palatable, to hide the alcohol and to make it a summer refreshing drink. No, it would be a silly thing to have a fresh glass of water to rehydrate ourselves in this hot weather, because that's just what we don't do, and that is the alcohol propaganda that is out there. So during my weekend this weekend, it was a family event, and I want to talk about that and the some of the tricky things that came up for me. Now, what really hit me, I went down for the weekend to my family, and it just reconfirmed with me, and I did prep for it, as I've said in previous videos. You know, it is important to think about these events before you go to them. I prepped for it and got my mindset there that I wouldn't be drinking, and just took some time out thinking about what I would say in the situation where I was asked whether I want to drink or whatever else. And I suppose I just want to reassure you again that in all these situations, and I wasn't offered a drink that often, but you know, the evening meal and that situation, was simply, I'm not drinking. I've stopped drinking. That's all I said. And actually, the response was really, really positive. It wasn't a judgment. It was just, that is great. Obviously, followed by a list of questions. Why are you doing this? What's the reason for it? And also, I think, therefore, a little bit of, well, perhaps we should be doing this as well from my family in terms of their drinking habits. Now, what is interesting is, and again, I'm going to be honest with this, because our mind creates associations, and those associations I would kind of call behaviour, I suppose. It's almost like the channeling and the network that is your brain just goes into automatic mode. You know, I'm not at a social event every weekend, and my mind still at this point associates those events with drinking. So there was a tiny smidgen of sadness, but actually that I wasn't able to drink in the evening with the barbecue that we had, but I still overall had a great time. And again, that brings me back to the point that actually most people think that it's alcohol that makes the good time, but actually that is so not true. It is about the company. You can still have, and I did have, a great time whilst I wasn't drinking. And yes, being honest, I did still think about it. I thought, oh, it would have been nice to have a beer now. But I soon got over that, and I soon cracked on with some conversation, or helping cook the dinner, or whatever it is that I was doing during this past weekend. So don't let it get you down. It is a positive thing, and all the more so for not waking up with a hangover as well, which again detracts from perhaps that precious time that you're having with your family, or really being present at that event that you're going to. I was able to be far more present. Unfortunately for me though, that was slightly undermined by the fact that I needed to take a Claritin for the pollen levels and the dog levels, as I call them. I'm allergic to dogs. That made me feel a little bit lethargic. Goodness knows how much worse that would have been if I had been drinking as well. So a really good weekend had by me. Again, I had bags more energy. The social event, I wasn't judged. I mean, it is my family. You'd hope your family won't judge you, but I was asked questions about why, and that was absolutely fine, and it passed very, very quickly. You see, the more I listen to other blogs and read to other blogs and hear what other people have to say about justifying, which we shouldn't have to do, stopping drinking, the more I realise that a simple response to any question from anybody out there of I don't drink is absolutely fine. I just don't drink. That's just how it is. I did find myself, if I'm honest, earlier this week after returning, justifying to a work colleague why I didn't drink by saying that it was for my health, which is true indirectly, but I could have just explained that quite simply by saying that I know too much about drinking, I've learnt too much about drinking, and therefore I have stopped drinking. The trouble is that I suppose the reason when this work colleague raised the fact that I had stopped drinking, the reason that I said that it was a health thing was just to bypass the fact that I could go into an awful lot of detail about the reasons to stop drinking, tell her that she should stop drinking as well, and that there is an underlying problem that she is trying to hide. That's the kind of thing that goes through my mind. But I know now that actually the best influence I can have is purely by just modelling that behaviour and by stopping. The questions come just by stopping drinking. People will ask, and that's just how it is. And I don't want to go out there, and I never have wanted to go out there preaching about the whole world having to stop drinking alcohol. That's not what this is about. And this, as I've said before, the whole blog is about me improving my life, the quality of life, for me to be better for other people, for me to be better for my family, for me to be able to give back more. So I'm not going to go out there preaching that drinking alcohol is the wrong thing to do, because there are people out there that can drink normally, in inverted commas, whatever that is, and they should be able to do that. And I don't think we should live in a dictatorship where everybody is crossed off the list and cannot drink, and there's legislation to shut everything down, because that, in my opinion, is not the route to solving our issue that is out there of drinking, which I discovered again this weekend. Do you know, I was walking down the place, my family, they live on an estuary, and it's a beautiful scenery. But again, you know, I come across in this warm weather all the wonderful pubs, and it's all alcohol orientated. People drinking on the quay, people having weekends away and having booze whilst they're out. There's so much alcohol in culture, and I know that you know this, and I know that I know it, but having a social event just re-emphasises that for me. So it's just one to be aware and to prepare for, in my opinion. And I think you do well to do that. So, sorry for rambling. I'm rambling again today, and there's a lot of points, I suppose, coming out of this, that it is important to prepare for your events. Please look at it positively if you're going away on a social event. It should be a great time. Just remember that alcohol is not the source to happiness. The happiness will come from the time that you spend with your family. It's not going to make or break a party or a social event. And just remember that you're not going to have a hangover. It's going to be a better occasion as a result of you not drinking, and you're going to keep improving yourself and moving yourself forward. And finally, just be prepared and think about how you're going to answer if people do ask you why you've stopped drinking, and just think about actually less is more in that situation. Just simply say, I'm not drinking. You don't have to justify yourself in doing that. The fact that you're doing it and modelling it will make people think. So that's it for today. Thank you for listening to freedomalcohol.com. This is week 29. You've been listening to Sam French,